The prosecution is still doing their thing. The prosecution has not rested yet. So they call up a witness. They call her up, and she was there during their arrest, and she has body cam footage. So they ask her pretty much what was on the body cam footage, because she was supposed to review the body cam footage, and they're just verifying that everything that she says was on the body cam footage was actually on the footage. So they talk about the arrest and how it happened. Okay, so we end up getting to see the body cam footage. So on the footage, you see that the lady, the officer on the lady's body cam, she ends up getting Kelsey off the ground. Kelsey's pinned down on the ground and arresting Kelsey. Okay, so everybody got arrested, but she was mainly focused on Kelsey. So we saw Kelsey laying on the ground in the middle of the street. Kelsey says, "Don't put your back in my knee or in my shit like that." I think she wanted to say, "Don't put your knee in my back," something like that. Like, "Don't put your knee all in my back." Like, don't put your back all in my shit. That's what she was saying. Like, "Don't hurt me." And they're like, "You'll be fine. It's all good." So she gets Kelsey, picks Kelsey up. She walks Kelsey to the sidewalk. They're facing in front of the apartments, right? Megantheestallion ends up walking past Kelsey towards the ambulance, and you hear Kelsey saying, "Meg, are you okay?" And so that was what the prosecution was trying to portray, pretty much that, Kelsey did not shoot Meg. Kelsey was looking out to see if Meg was okay. Okay, while she was arrested. Okay, she was still adamantly checking on Megantheestallion. Okay, now they also showed the second body cam footage where there was two body cam footages. So there was the body cam footage of the arresting officer of Kelsey. Then they were showing the body cam footage of the officer that had arrested Megantheestallion. So we got to see Megantheestallion sitting on the curb in blood. Okay, it was a lot of fucking blood. All right, and they try to, boobs is out, bathing suit. These people was in bathing suits. Okay, Megantheestallion boob almost about to fall out. So they lift Megantheestallion up. This is the other officer trying to walk her to the ambulance. Okay, and you hear Megantheestallion say they're like trying to help her up and try to, get I don't know if they were going to get a wheelchair or get something for her, but you hear Meg say, "No, I'm gonna try to do it myself. I can walk myself. Let me try to walk myself." And then you heard, Kelsey saying, "Meg, are you okay?" Okay, and so that was an important part. I think that the prosecution was trying to portray to us like they were not fighting, they were okay. So then it was asked if if the arresting officer, if Kelsey had any visible scratches or bruises on her, and the officer said, well, it looked like her chin was bleeding, like she had blood trickling down her chin. There might have been some blood between her thighs. Now the defense was like, no, they were trying to object it. They ended up getting overruled. It was sustained. They said it looked like from the body cam footage that she reviewed. Now this is important that you guys listen, because the arresting officer kept saying, well, I reviewed the body cam footage, so from what I reviewed, it did appear that Kelsey had blood coming down from her chin. Okay, so that paints the picture of, these girls were both victims in a sense. Okay, and so then the defense gets up and they're speaking, and so this is where it gets crazy for me, and it kind of goes downhill. It's no shade. They like, okay, ma'am, so you were the arresting officer. Now, you arrested Kelsey. You were standing next to Kelsey, but where was my client? Wasn't my client next to Kelsey? Yes. Well, how far? A few feet. Oh, also, let me backtrack. The arresting officer said that Kelsey's demeanor was very frantic, distraught, like she was scared, crying, and I seen it in the video. She definitely was crying. She definitely was frantic. She was not okay. She was scared. So that was a very accurate description. So fast forward, the defense gets up and they pretty much ask, you know, did you see Tory? And she's like, well, yeah, but kind of not. No, like I just seen him, you know, with his head down. They were like, well, what was his demeanor? And they were like, well, I don't, you know, I can't tell what Tory, the officer was like, well, I can't tell what his demeanor is because he was looking down. Then the defense said, well, did you hear what Tory said to Megantheestallion? And she said, no, I would have to review the tapes. He said, wait, so I thought you reviewed the tapes. Like, you knew you were coming in here to testify. Did you not review the tapes? You didn't hear anything that Tory said to Megan? How far were you? She's like, well, a couple of feet. And he was like, so you didn't hear anything? She said, no, I didn't hear. I wasn't paying attention to that. And when I reviewed the tapes, I wasn't looking for Tory Lanez. I wasn't really paying attention to review about Tory Lanez. I didn't see it. I didn't hear it. They were like, well, how was his demeanor? I don't know. She didn't know nothing. And then they were like, well, where were you? Like, cause wasn't Megantheestallion down the street and you were right next to Tory and Kelsey? Well, yeah, a couple feet. And he's like, well, you didn't hear nothing? You didn't see anything? And she's like, well, no, I just kind of reviewed. So you didn't hear anything on the body cam footage? And then you reviewed 2 body cam footages. You also reviewed the other officer that was arresting Tory or Meg. And you didn't hear any audio. You didn't see anything. You knew nothing. And she like, no. Like, she can't recollect or she can't remember. She was in there acting like she had amnesia. It was something crazy. And then the guy was like, well, ma'am, are you telling the truth right now? And she's like, yes. He said, did you have a meeting before you got here? She said, yes. He said, did you have a meeting with the prosecution before you got here? Yes. Did they tell you that I was going to probably ask you about Tory's demeanor and how my client was during that time and how he was emotionally? And she kind of was like, no, or she didn't know, or she just was she didn't understand the question. Like, she was just acting like she didn't know nothing that was going on. And I think it kind of made people feel like, well, how, like, if you are doing the body cam footage and you're reviewing the tapes and the audio and this and that and the third, you didn't hear Tory. So he was like, and so you didn't hear Tory say, Meg, go. Everything's going to be okay. Or something along those lines. It was like, Meg, go, you're okay. You okay? Or Meg, go, everything's okay. Something like that. And she was like, no, like she didn't hear that. So he was like, you didn't hear nothing. Then they just rested. They rested. So the prosecution brought in the arresting officer of Kelsey. And we reviewed her body cam and we reviewed what happened from her recollect, okay? But somehow, even though she was in the vicinity of Tory Lanez, she did not remember anything about his demeanor or didn't recall him saying anything. She doesn't remember him looking sad. He didn't say anything. She said his head was just turned down. So I don't know if the defense was trying to paint this picture. Well, I know that's what they're doing. Like, girl, you didn't do your accurate research. You didn't hear anything. I don't know if there was anything to be heard, but they were stumbling her because it was like, it was almost feeling like she didn't really fully do her research. And she didn't know what was going on. So I don't think that was a good look for them, to be honest. And then it gets better, child. So then they have the investigative, Jody Little comes in. She's the investigator. She does the audio, okay? So the prosecution brings in Jody Little. Basically, they start reviewing the song lyrics, busting back. They start reviewing Kelsey's song Bustin' Back, where she was taking shots at Megan Thee Stallion and pretty much talking about, you know who shot you, you was lying to the DA about hush money. So I think the prosecution's point on that was to try to say, girl, you know who shot you, you know I didn't shoot you. They were trying to show that Kelsey admitted that, Tory alluded to the fact that Tory shot her. So kind of what I got from it. Like, that was the prosecution's job to say, listen to these lyrics. You see that she did not shoot Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion knows, in fact, who's the one who shot her. Kelsey actually cared about Megan Thee Stallion. Kelsey supported Megan Thee Stallion. That is what they were trying to push. And Jody Little, she kind of was agreeing. Like, she was like, do you see these lyrics here? They asked her, did Kelsey admit in this song to shooting Megan Thee Stallion? The investigator said no. Pretty much like, I understand these lyrics. I read these lyrics. I listened to the song, right? So she was going along with the prosecution. Now, the defense gets up for cross-examination, child. The defense gets up for cross-examination. This was a mess. And y'all know I'm not going to lie. Y'all know I'm not going to lie to you. This was a mess. So they say, well, the defense says, well, in this same song, ma'am, do you see where Megan Thee Stallion has been accused for lying and multiple times? Then the lady on the stand, I kid you not, the lady on the stand start acting, well, I don't know. I'm not sure. What are you referring to? She start forgetting the song. And they're like, ma'am, do you see on this line number 10, where right here, they put it in her face. Mind you, she got the damn paper here. They're like, well, do you see where she was being accused of lying about hush money and this, that, and the third? And the lady's like, I don't know. I can't see it. I don't recall. Show me the line, sir. Show me the line, sir. Then she read the line to herself, whatever. Then she said, yes, I do see where she was accused of lying to the DA. So then the prosecution comes back up and they make it clear. They say, because Megan, there was a line where she said, yeah, you were lying to the DA. Imagine telling the DA something, I was taking hush money. So the prosecution is like, well, she's basically saying Meg lied about hush money. There was no hush money, and the Jody Little was saying, yeah, okay, I see that. So then the defense gets back up and they're like, okay, ma'am, outside of just the hush money, hasn't she been accused of lying throughout this entire thing? And the lady's like, well, no, I'm not sure. And there was multiple lines. I can't think of the lines of the song right now, but there was multiple lines where Kelsey has accused Megan Thee Stallion of lying. You know what I mean? And the lady kept saying, well, you're asking me about hush money, sir. This line is not about hush money. The defense was saying, ma'am, this is not about the hush money. I'm basically asking you, is there other lines in the song about Megan Thee Stallion lying outside of her just lying about saying Kelsey is receiving hush money? And the lady would not act like she understood that. She kept acting crazy and acting retarded. Like she didn't understand that, okay, we get it. This line is not about hush money, but there's other lines in the song where Kelsey is accusing Megan Thee Stallion of lying. Do you see that in this record, in these words? And the lady kept saying, no, or she doesn't remember. She would have to look at this and she would have to recall that. Then immediately when the prosecution comes back up and asks her questions, she remembers everything verbatim that was in the record, that was on the song. So I think that that's interesting. I think that that's interesting because, girl, why do you get this selective amnesia? So Tory does have some really good lawyers. Tory has some really good lawyers because when you think that the prosecution is winning, when the defense comes up, or the redirect, however you want to call it, when they come up, they get these people thrown off because it almost makes you feel like they're lying, because the job of the officer and the job of the investigator, they're supposed to be a neutral, non-biased party. But the defense does a great job of making them appear as biased, bought, unreliable sources, because the way that he throws them off, it almost makes them look like they were only working for one side versus working for the both sides, just being, neutral. So it's a really interesting situation. If I had to give this round to somebody, I have to give it over to Tory Lanez' team. No shade. Because they ate the prosecution's witnesses, even with the body cam, even with the song lyric, everything that was being able to be presented, they still found a way to kind of make at least me feel like, damn, bitch, you didn't do all your research. You didn't really. Why are you acting like you don't remember everything? How are you standing next to Tory Lanez and you don't hear nothing he said? How are you a police officer on a case and you're reviewing body cam footage to come testify here, but you don't know, you can't tell me about Tory Lanez's demeanor, but you can tell me about Kelsey and Megantheestallion and this, but you don't know about the nigga that's standing right next to you? You didn't hear shit? And then the other lady, you don't remember what's in the lyrics of the song. When the defense asks you questions, you playing stupid. But the minute the prosecution, no, that is correct. That is correct. That is correct. And so it was crazy. So it's a lot going on with that. It is a mess, but child, Tory Lanez's lawyers are not playing. They're not playing. They're not playing. So girl, we will see. I'm going to go eat. I'm checking out. Again, shout out to Fashion Nova for the drip today. And I will see you guys in the next video. Love you. Peace out.